for hardware startups, what I can say is that there's the market risk, which is really big, but also there's the production risk, which is equally huge. And one thing, if you get it wrong, it can mess up the whole project. To conceptualize the risks when it comes to manufacturing, is to look at supply risk, whereby how do you get the components from different suppliers to the production plant? What are the risks involved? One of them is lead time. Another important risk is components. You can select a component today for your prototype, but 3 years down the line, those components are not available. And how to mitigate about that is selecting components from reputable suppliers.
Of all of the struggles that we've had as an organization, none have impacted us as much as lack of inventory, running out of stock. And it is, again, we are not so well funded that we can just go fill the storehouse up with inventory. We build what we think will be enough, and then we sell out faster than we thought. And then we go to build some more, and there's a component that's not available, there's a delay. So that's been honestly a huge challenge, and one that we're still struggling with.
When you're designing that prototype, you should have in mind to make it less complex. That means that to use as a less variety of components as possible. So for example, like if you get a component from Texas Instruments, you're sure that that company is going to be there it's going to produce those components over a period of time. But if you get a component from a new manufacturer, let's say from Turkey, for example, you're not so sure whether that component might be available in the market 3 years from now. Another risk is quantity. For example, like you might select a component which the supplier can only do 10,000 units per month, but then you want more than 10,000.
Wireless charging is a luxury feature, full stop. Like, wireless charging comes in, the Galaxy Note 4, the S5, the S6. Like, this is something that rich people get, is wireless charging. And we were fortunate that we had a close relationship with Intel. They gave us access to their engineers. Reg and I went to China, and we sat down with them, and we're sitting in this room. The global head of education for Intel is in the room, and Chinese engineers like, no, it can't be done, can't do it. And that's not an answer that we will accept. That's not our way of thinking. And so after a bit of going back and forth, I suggested that they might like to get a screwdriver and allow Reg, our CTO, to take the tablet apart and demonstrate to them how we would implement wireless charging. They did, and he did, and there was an aha moment with all the engineers in the room, like, oh, that's how we would do it. And it really was kind of, here's this African company in China telling them, no, your engineering limitations are invalid. You must accept, our view to the world, which is we're going to find a way to make this work.
Then when it comes to supply chain, is once it's produced, how do you take it to the market? Are you going to use air? Are you going to use ship? And those are the pros and cons involved in that. And of course, you have the aspects about duty, aspects also regulatory. For example, like our device may not, if we don't have FCC approval, may not be able to be shipped in America, or even the Kenyan government might refuse to accept those things to the port. So those aspects that come into play.
And I think it really surprised the world that you would create a value-oriented solution that would use a luxury feature. But I think that's also the way that, at least in our type of environment, we have to think like that. We have to be willing to think about things that people say, no, that shouldn't be done. That doesn't make sense.
That's why I think you have to have professionals on board there, especially when you go to mass manufacturing. And also it's very expensive. Like tooling can cost up to $200,000. And if you change your mind in the middle of the process, you have to start all over again.
And I think too often it's easy for an entrepreneur to hear somebody say no, and they respect that person. They think they know what they're doing. And sometimes as an entrepreneur, you have to say, fine, you can believe that. I'm going to believe my reality, and whatever it takes, I will make that happen.